Welcome to Wednesdays with Wayne, and June is Perennial Gardening Month. Perennials are plants that live 3 years or more. That does not mean that they're going to live indefinitely. There are some perennials that do live a long time, but some only live about 3 to 5 years. We select perennials on the basis that we want some color in the garden, and we want a little bit less maintenance than annuals. When it comes to perennials, we usually have a season of bloom, and that season of bloom is usually spring, summer, or fall. Some perennials are long blooming, but there aren't too many to choose from when it comes to that. So therefore, we have to select a variety and diversity of perennials in order to get that season-long bloom. Let me share a few with you that I really like. One of the first of these would be a daisy. This one's called Daisy May. This is a little bit more of a landscape type daisy because it actually does some repeat blooming. Here we're going to get blooming for probably 4 to 6 weeks easily. The bee balm you see here, we've got a bee on the bee balm. You shouldn't be afraid of the fact that insects are on flowering plants. They're very, very important to us. Therefore, attracting bees and pollinators to the garden is really a great thing. Bee balm is a little bit shorter blooming. I'm going to say right around 4 weeks. It will start blooming about this time of the year and continue again for a number of weeks in a variety of bright colors. Lavender is another great perennial, but needs excessively good drainage, especially in the winter time, in order to have lavender make it through our winters. Another one here would be the black-eyed Susan. This one happens to be Gold Rush. I like this because of its great disease resistance. And the Gold Rush or black-eyed Susan, super low maintenance, pretty long bloom period. And again, Gold Rush is one of those varieties that has really no disease, no insect problems at all. You see a variety of coneflowers here. I find the yellows and the oranges are a little bit harder to grow and don't usually come back nearly as much as many of the purples. One of our favorite purples happens to be the powwow wild berry. So most of the purples seem to come back pretty reliably. The oranges and yellows are fantastic, but again, don't always come back from year to year. This is one of my absolute favorites, this Heliopsis. I've talked about this in the past, but this is also an orange blooming plant. The Heliopsis is pretty tall, about 36 inches tall, and it's got this great purple overcast to the foliage as well. A great full sun plant. Actually, everything I've just talked about is full sun perennials. I'm just going to run through here. The Alliums we love, we talked about so many times, Serendipity, Millennium. The catmint, this can get a little bit rough looking, and the best tip here is to actually cut it back after blooming and it'll rejuvenate itself. Here's one of the long blooming perennials, the Coreopsis. This one's called Zagreb. You see this nice ferny foliage to it. Starts blooming right about now in June and continues to almost frost. So one of the longer blooming perennials. Let me take you through just a few shade perennials. If you want flowering for the shade, the Astilbes are kind of the answer. You get from purples to the reds. We've got a few whites mixed in here, not a whole lot, and pinks. So the Astilbe is a great blooming plant for the shade. The ferns offer you some phenomenal texture. This one's called Dre's Dagger. Love also the Japanese painted fern. These are just wonderful with those silver and purple overlays. Of course, the hostas are fantastic. We've got a large selection of hostas. My recommendation with hostas is don't just buy 15 of the same type. There are so many to choose from, like this wee, just beautiful with the curly foliage. Wind Beneath My Wings has these blue, fantastic leaves. So you've got all this variety to choose from. I'm going to circle back around and just don't want to forget things like the heucheras or the coral bells. One of our favorites of all time is caramel. Great durability on caramel for sun or shade. You've got a lot of the purples like Black Pearl, bright yellows, Lemon Love, and look at this amazing purple, the Wild Berry. So stop in. Again, June is the time for perennials, and they will last the entire season and go on for years. So thank you for joining Wednesdays with Wayne, sponsored by Niemeyer's Landscape Supply. And remember, beautiful landscapes start here.